Yo. 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 Welcome back to Son of a Preacher Man. As always, I am your host, the Soapman. Y'all gonna have to forgive me, this beat is just so funky. It may be a little difficult to get through. In my last episode, we talked about how God communicates with us. Moses was out in the desert and his brother and sister Aaron and Miriam wanted to kick up a little dust in the desert, so God had to lay that smack down, that's that smack down. So, the thing I want to highlight is that Moses and the Hebrews are still in the desert. And they've been in the desert, by our time, at least the last few episodes. But the thing is, they've done everything they've needed to do. They've gathered their resources, they've made arrangements and preparations, and they're still in the desert. And as it turns out, they'll continue to abide in the desert for the next 40 years. And this episode is all about why. So, let's get into it. So, in order to better understand where we are, let's do a quick recap of how we got there. Moses and the Hebrews leave Egypt. They come to the land of Midian. There in Midian upon Mount Sinai, they acquire the 10 Commandments. They create the Ark of the Covenant and erect the Holy Tabernacle. It's been over a year now. Hold on, let me get my sound right now. Man, this is crazy. I can't believe this is happening. Sad. Now you see me push loop. Sad. So Moses and the Hebrews leave Egypt. They come to Midian. It's been over a year now. And Moses' goal is not to stay in the desert. He has a final destination, the final X on our treasure map. The promised land, aka the Land of Canaan. So as you see here on the map, Egypt is to the far left. In the middle, you have the Egyptian domain of the Sinai Peninsula. And to the right, you have at the bottom Midian and at the top Canaan. Moses and the Hebrews are in Midian. They need to get to Canaan. This is where Moses needs to get to. The only problem is the place is currently occupied and has no vacancies. And Moses and the Hebrews are about a few million deep. This sort of conundrum calls for the genius of Moses. So here's what he does. He sends 12 men, rulers from each tribe, princes, one prince from each of the 12 tribes, 12 in all, 12 spies, so to speak. And he sends these 12 spies on a mission into the land of Canaan to map out the land, to observe its defenses, to check out the people living there. And they are to report back to Moses. So, son of a preacher man brings you The Wanderings, Part 5, The 12 Spies. So these spies go off into the land of Canaan, and they split up. But before they split up, they have a meeting and they make arrangements. They tell each other, we're going to meet back here. We're going to split up. We're going to go to these different parts of the land, and then we're going to meet back here. So they split up and they go off into these different parts of the land. Well, let me just let the Bible tell you. Numbers chapter 13, verses 1 through 16 begin as such. It says, "And the Lord spake unto Moses, saying, Send thou men, that they may search the land of Canaan, which I give unto the children of Israel. Of every tribe of their fathers shall ye send a man, every one a ruler among them. And Moses by the commandment of the Lord sent them from the wilderness of Paran. All those men were heads of the children of Israel. And these were their names: of the tribe of Reuben, Shemua, the son of Zakur; of the tribe of Simeon, Shaphat, the son of Hori; of the tribe of Judah, Caleb." And you see I have Caleb in big, bold, red print. Remember that name. Of the tribe of Judah, Caleb, the son of Jephunneh; of the tribe of Issachar, Igal, the son of Yusuf; of the tribe of Ephraim, Oshea, the son of Nun. And as you see, I have Oshea highlighted. Remember these two names, Caleb and Oshea. You'll see why later. Of the tribe of Benjamin, Palti, the son of Raphu; of the tribe of Zebulun, Gadiel, the son of Sodi; of the tribe of Joseph, namely of the tribe of Manasseh, or Manasseh, Gadi, the son of Susi; of the tribe of Dan, Amiel, the son of Gamali; of the tribe of Asher, Sether, the son of Michael; of the tribe of Naphtali, Nabi, the son of Vophsi. Jeez, oh, Pete. Vophsi. Oh my God. Of the tribe of Gad, Geuel, the son of Maki. These are the names of the men which Moses sent to spy out the land. And Moses called Oshea, the son of Nun, Yeshua. So Moses calls Oshea Joshua, or Yeshua. Make a little note. This name Joshua is pronounced the same as Jesus. In Hebrew, it's pronounced Yeshua. And the last line, the last sentence of this verse says, "And Moses calls Oshea, the son of Nun, Yehoshua." That's the same name as Jesus, Yeshua. Or it's at least very similar to that name. Just a little fun fact there. Numbers chapter 13, verses 17 through 22 read, "And Moses sent them to spy out the land of Canaan, and said unto them, Get you up this way, southward, and go up into the mountain, and see the land, what it is, and the people that dwelleth therein, whether they be strong or weak, few or many, and what the land is that they dwell in, whether it be good or bad, and what cities they be that they dwell in, whether in tents or in strongholds, and what the land is, whether it be fat or lean, whether there be wood therein or not. And be ye of good courage, and bring the fruit of the land. Now the time was the time of the first ripe grapes. So they went up and searched the land from the wilderness of Zin to Rehob, as men come to Hamath. And they ascended by the south, and came unto Hebron, where Iman, Sheshai, and Talmai, the children of Anak, were. Now, we're going to get on these three names in just a second. But let's read this last line again, because I have three names highlighted in bold red print. It says, talking about the Hebrews, and Moses is giving them instructions, and it's recounting their travels through the land that they're spying out. And the last line says, and they ascended by the south, and came unto Hebron, which is a city, where Iman, I got that spelled wrong. There shouldn't be an R in there. That was a typo. It should be A-H-I-M-A-N, not A-H-R-I-M-A-N. Just a small typo. But it says they ascended by the south, and they came unto Hebron, where Iman, Sheshai, and Talmai, the children of Anak, were. Now we're going to touch on who these children of Anak were in just a second. Give me time, all right? So Numbers chapter 13 verses 23 through 24 say, and they came unto the brook of Eshcol, and cut down from thence, talking about the Hebrews as they were going through the land. And they came unto the brook of Eshcol, and cut down from thence a branch with one cluster of grapes, and they bare it between two upon a staff. And they brought of the pomegranates and of the figs. The place was called the brook of Eshcol because of the cluster of grapes which the children of Israel cut down from thence. So this part of the story where they bring back the cluster of grapes has always stuck out to me. I just can't help but to imagine this giant grape cluster that it took two men to carry on a pole between them. The significant point about the cluster of grapes is that they represent the natural wealth and resources of the land. Moses promised the Hebrew people a land flowing with milk and honey. And the 12 spies go to search out the land, and they bring back the proof. Not only that, but this is a significant boost in morale for the Hebrew people overall. This gives them something to look forward to. This gives them hope. They've been in the desert for over a year now, and that wasn't the plan. The plan was to come into a land which they could call their own. And these men coming back with this big cluster of grapes, showing the people proof that the land is what Moses said it was. This gives them hope, like, hey, okay, everything is right on schedule, okay? You know what I'm saying? It is what it's supposed to be. This picture of these men returning from their 40-day journey searching out the land. They're hoisting these great clusters on their shoulders. It must have been a sight for sore eyes to people as wary as the Hebrews, who have been living under extremely harsh conditions in the desert. They now had a ray of sunshine, a light at the end of the tunnel, and they could literally taste victory. Get it? Cluster of grapes. Taste victory. Yeah, okay. Turns out victory tastes like grapes. Get it? Okay, anyhow. So, with the end so near in sight, the Hebrews were probably toying with the prospect of actually having a land of their own. And from the looks of it, from the looks of this humongous grape cluster that these dudes are bringing back, from the looks of it, they've hit the jackpot. What I'm trying to get you to see is everything's, they've been uplifted. They've been in the desert. They whining and complaining. Moses tells the people, hey, the end is coming. We going to a land of our own. I done sent these 12 spies to go search the land out. And look, here they come back. bearing the fruits of the land. And I must say, the fruits of the land is looking like it was worth it, you know? Like, these dudes bringing back this cluster of grapes, it was proof that the land was fertile. It's proof that, hey, we could probably feed and water our livestock. We can grow crops. We can grow things. We can raise herds. This picture, by the way, is just what I think it would have looked like in real life. This is like a real picture of some dudes carrying like what looked to be grapes. I'm not sure, but this is my opinion of what it probably really looked like. So the 12 spies, they returned to Moses, and they returned to Moses as they were instructed. And they tell him that indeed the land is flowing with milk and honey, just as you said, Moses. They show him the grape clusters, and they show him the other fruits and food items they've returned with, and everything seems to be going well when this happens. And what this is will set Moses back 40 years. What this is the proof that Moses is only human. It's a glitch in his plan. It's something he didn't expect, genius though he may be. He did not see this coming. A hitch in his plan, a setback. A 40-year setback. Let's see how it happened. Numbers chapter 13, verses 25 through 33, and they read, "And they returned from searching of the land after 40 days. And they went and came to Moses and to Aaron and to all the congregation of the children of Israel unto the wilderness of Paran to Kadesh, and brought back word unto them and unto all the congregation, and showed them the fruit of the land. And they told him, and said, We came unto the land whither thou sentest us, and surely it flowed with milk and honey. And this is the fruit of it." Here's the proof. "Nevertheless," what they say. Nevertheless, we did as you said. We came back. Yeah, the land is just like you said. It's flowing with milk and honey. But nevertheless, the people be strong that dwell in the land, and the cities are walled and very great. And moreover, we saw the children of Anak there. Now, we just touched on that a couple verses ago. We talked about 3 individuals. They are brothers, I'll tell you now. Iman, Shishai, and Talmai. And a couple verses ago, let's go back. What did it say? It said, "And they ascended by the south and came unto Hebron, where Iman, Shishai, and Talmai, the children of Anak, were." They came to a place where these children of Anak were. And now here we are. And it says, "Nevertheless, the people be strong that dwell in the land, and the cities are walled and very great. And moreover," and what that means is, if that ain't bad enough, we also saw the children of Anak there. Now we're going to get on who these children of Anak are. Let's just keep reading for right now. And it says, "The Amalekites dwell in the land of the south, and the Hittites, and the Jebusites, and the Amorites, and dwell in the mountains. And the Canaanites dwell by the sea, and by the coast of Jordan. And Caleb," remember that was one of the names I said to remember, It says, and Caleb stilled the people before Moses and said, let us go up at once and possess it, for we are well able to overcome it. But the men that went up with him said, we be not able to go up against the people, for they are stronger than we. And they brought up an evil report of the land which they had searched unto the children of Israel, saying, the land through which we have gone to search it is a land that eateth up the inhabitants thereof. It eateth up its own people, is what they're saying. And all the people that we saw in it are men of great stature. All the men that are in this land are humongous, are what they're saying. And in big, bold, red print, the last sentence, it reads, and there we saw giants. That's what it says. And there we saw giants, the sons of Anak, which come of the giants. And we were in our own sight as grasshoppers, and so we were in their sight. And this is what that last line means. First of all, let's break down before we get to calling these men cowards, let's take a closer look at their complaint and try to see things from their perspective. This is what they say to Moses when they come back. They bring back this big, humongous cluster of grapes. They're making an attempt to be honest. They're saying, look here. Here's the proof that what you claimed was true. You said that we was going to a land that was flowing with milk and honey. And here you see we have brought back the proof that that was true. Look at this luscious, humongous cluster of grapes. It took 2 men to bring it back on a pole. But let me tell you what else we saw. Let me tell you what else we saw. They say we saw giants. Giants. Now, if you know me, this is one of my most favoritist subjects out of the whole universe. I love talking about giants. I made a 3-trilogy episode called Giants, Men of Renown. You should go check it out. All my friends know I love giants and talking about giants. That's why they won't even say the word giants. Somebody say giants around me, my head perk up. I'm like, giants? Who said giants? I like giants. Fee, fi, fo, fizzo. I love the subject. I will talk about it with you all day. Look, man. How are we gonna clown these people? They did what Moses said he wanted them to do. And they come back. They say they saw giants. They say they saw giants. They returned to Moses with an evil report. They say to him, you gave us an assignment to scout out the land. Sorry, this is hugely embarrassing. They say you gave us an assignment to scout out the land and bring you back a report. You wanted to know if the men there were strong or weak, well, they are strong. Their defenses are strong. The cities are walled. And the men are tall. The men are tall and strong and fearsome. They are taller and bigger and stronger than us. On top of all that, on top of just the regular men that we saw being considerably taller and bigger and stronger than us, we talk about your average Joe, the guy you bump into on the street. We don't want to fight him. But on top of that, if that wasn't bad enough, we saw giants. As if the regular people were not ferocious looking enough, we saw giants there. Now, to tell the truth, we don't know what that means. We don't know, us here 3,000 years later, we don't know exactly what it was they saw. The Hebrews are claiming that there were giants. So I think it's safe to say whatever they saw was big and scary enough to have left a lasting impression. But this is taking place over 3,000 years ago. We have no idea what mutated, unsavory abomination of nature they encountered. We know not what long forgotten hideous nightmares existed back in those times. Can you imagine coming across some hungry, mindless oaf using a tree as a club, looking like he got Down syndrome, looking in your direction? So 10 out of these 12 spies say, we can't defeat these people. They are too big. They are too strong. We don't want to fight them. But that's not all. It gets worse, they say. Because let me get my sound production right. This is just going horribly wrong. Loop. Thank you. Sorry, folks, where were we? So that's not all. The regular people are too big and strong. We saw giants there. Oh, and it gets even better. Because they claim to have seen a very specific type or breed of giant. The sons of Anak, they call them. They are referring to the three giant brothers of Hebron, Iman, Shishai, and Talmai. The three brothers rule there in Hebron. Now, even the Egyptians spoke of these three brothers, which gives the notion that they really existed credence. The Egyptians knew of these three giant brothers that ruled in the city of Hebron in the land of Canaan. Now, normally when folks come to parts in the Bible like this, where it talks about, the sons of Anak, normally when folks come to parts like this in the Bible, they tend to just gloss over it because they don't know what it means. When you read about the sons of Anak, you're like, okay, big deal. Anak had kids. But if you put yourself back in the shoes of those people at that time, the Hebrews and Moses, they knew what that meant. They knew what that meant when these spies returned and said, we saw the sons of Anak there. And what that meant was, we not only saw giants there, we saw giants of the worst kind. These sons of Anak. They weren't just any giants. They were the worst. One of these sons of Anak would have been bad enough, but no, there were multiple. You see, a giant alone is scary enough. Multiple giants would be absolutely petrifying. But the descendants of Anak, who was himself a renowned giant and a ruler. Anak was actually a person. He was a giant. He was a king. So his descendants, the descendants of Anak, they had a notorious reputation. I'm sorry, this is just gonna be doing this. I see this whole video. Yeah, so I apologize. I keep hitting loop. You see that? This is very sad. You can't depend on technology to do what it's supposed to do. We're just gonna get her done here. So these sons of Anak had a reputed, notorious reputation for being the biggest and baddest giants of all the giant breeds. Remember in the movie Lord of the Rings when Sauron warned Gandalf about what he did, what he unleashed in the mines of Moria, what the dwarves did, what they unleashed? We touched on the giant Goliath briefly in my episode, and if you didn't get the last slide, what I'm saying is these sons of Anak are known. So when Moses and the other Hebrew congregation listening to the report of these 12 spies, when they come back and say the sons of Anak are there, it's like when Saruman was telling, or making a speech to Gandalf, or about Gandalf saying, yeah, you know what's down there in that pit. You know what those dwarves digging greedily for that gold unlocked down in that pit. You know, because it's such a force to be reckoned with. And so that's the same thing with the Hebrew people. They understand when they hear the sons of Anak, that is the most worst possible nightmarish scenario that they could ever imagine, is having to deal with these sons of Anak. We touched on the giant Goliath briefly in my episodes on giants titled Giants Men of Renown, and we'll touch on him more much later down the line when we talk about one of my absolute most favorite characters in the Bible, King David. Of course, we'll touch on Goliath more then. But Goliath was of the Anakim giants, which means he too was a son of Anak. He was a descendant of Anak. He was an Anakim giant. The word Anak is in the word Anakim because they're all related. They're all derivative. They all come from the main source, which is the first giant and first ruler, Anak. I think I know how to fix this. Okay, just bear with me, okay? I know why it's acting stupid, I think. But we learn as we go along. So, Goliath was a descendant of the son of Anak, but by Goliath's time, there were only a few puny remnants of the former glory these monsters once held. They were a shell of their former selves by the time of Goliath's time. Now, Goliath was almost 10 feet tall, and he would have been considered a runt in Moses' time. There's a time span difference of about 500 years between Moses and the time of David and Goliath. And by Goliath's time, the giants had pretty much been wiped out. So the giants of Goliath's time were few in number, and they were puny in stature. Even at almost 10 feet tall, would have been considered puny by Moses' time period and time standards. These brothers, these sons of Anak, Iman, Shishai, and Talmai, who ruled in Hebron, they ruled because they were the biggest and baddest fish in that pond. Of all the nasties that land could produce, they were the worst by far. You heard the people, they said everybody there is big. And on top of that, we saw giants. So they already telling you the place is full of nasties. The place is full of peril. You don't want to go there. Go around this land. These three brothers are ruling the city of Hebron because they are the nasty of the nastiest. They are the nastiest of the nasty. They the big dogs. And so 10 out of the 12 spies, they tell Moses, we can't win this fight. Who do you think is about to go and fight these things? Not me. Not me. And what would you have said? And what would you have done? Can you blame these men? They were afraid. And they were afraid for good reason. Oh my God, it worked. I think I fixed it, y'all. They was afraid. Look, it makes me think to myself, if these people in this land were as the spies described them, they probably couldn't have whooped the women. They probably couldn't have even fought the female giants. Imagine what the women that these people claim these giants dwelled in the land. Imagine what the giant women looked like, the giant wives. These men probably couldn't even have went up against the wives of these monstrosities. But I want to explain something to you real quick. And this is real talk. One thing you need to understand is, and I'm not going to take long in saying this. Let's go back to Egypt. At the time of Moses, when he was in Egypt, and I know this if you're wondering, Soapman, how the hell would you know? Because I believe Moses was a Pepi. And at the time of a Pepi, Egypt did not have like a standing army that they could go send out and invade or fight someone. Their whole reason for developing an army was because they were at civil war with the Pepi. Now, in the north, a Pepi is ruling mostly Semitic people. But they don't have like a real army either. They're winning because they're winning politically and economically. They're winning that fight. And their southern Egyptian neighbors really can't afford to go to war with them. But by the time of a Pepi changes that. He goes to war. But his army, the Hebrew people, they're not soldiers. They've never been in like real fights. The reason they were so successful under Moses is because they were under Moses. And Moses is a genius. So Moses is making these battles easy for them. He says to them, look, I know you're timid. I know you're afraid. All you have to do is what I tell you to do. We've got the superior technology. I'll have your bowmen at a safe distance. They won't be in much harm. We probably won't need the ground troops. Our men can safely attack from their chariots. I've got it all mapped out and organized. It's not going to be hard, but let's not get it twisted. These men in Moses' army, they are not battle-hardened soldiers. When Moses leaves in the Exodus, one of the things that Pharaoh knows is, yeah, he's got a bunch of fighting men, Moses does. This is what Pharaoh is saying to himself. Moses is crossing the desert with a bunch of fighting men who've never been in a fight. And they're intermingled and intermixed with women, children, and cattle. I could slaughter them. That's what makes him come out in hot pursuit. Moses knows when he's fighting the Amalekites, he does not have a battle-hardened army. So these men, when they go scout out the land, these aren't soldiers. They are very much afraid. So we have these three brothers who are said to be sons of Anak. We know they're big and bad, but the Hebrew spies say exactly how big and bad they are. The question becomes, do you take them literally, or are they exaggerating? They say, we are like grasshoppers to them. We are like grasshoppers to them, and we are like grasshoppers to us. We're like grasshoppers to them, and we agree with them. We are grasshoppers to them. We agree. We're all in agreement that we're grasshoppers to them. No disagreement here. Numbers chapter 14, verses 1 through 9 say, and all the congregation lifted up their voice and cried, and the people wept that night. And all the children of Israel murmured against Moses and against Aaron. And the whole congregation said unto them, would God that we had died in this wilderness? And wherefore had the Lord brought us unto this land, to fall by the sword, that our wives and our children should be a prey? Were it not better for us to return into Egypt? And they said one to another, let us make a captain, and let us return into Egypt. And Moses and Aaron fell on their faces before all the assembly of the congregation of the children of Israel. And Joshua the son of Nun, and Caleb the son of Jephunneh, which were of them that searched the land, rent their clothes. And they spake unto all the company of the children of Israel, saying, the land which we passed through to search it is an exceeding good land. If the Lord delight in us, then he will bring us into this land and give it us, a land which floweth with milk and honey. Only rebel not ye against the Lord, neither fear ye the people of the land, for they are bread for us. Their defense is departed from them, and the Lord is with us. Fear them not. So we got, let me fix my sound check here. I'm sorry, man. Sad. Funky. Okay, so let's just go over what happens here. And what happens is a fight breaks out. As the 10 of the 12 spies are given this, what's called an evil report to Moses, everybody gets to arguing and shouting and fighting. The congregation who's listening to this report, they start what the Bible says murmuring against Moses and Aaron. They start regretting and griping and complaining, and to the point where they say, let us make us a captain. Let's replace Moses. Let's anoint us a leader to lead us back to Egypt. Whoa. I mean, need I say more? That really says it all. Out of the 10, only 2, Joshua and Caleb, they say, no, we can take this city. We can do this. But one thing that's interesting to me, Joshua and Caleb don't disagree with the other 10. They don't say, no, you lying, you exaggerating. They don't say that. They say, yeah, but we can take it. Yeah, there are giants there, but we can win. Yeah, the sons of Anak, they were there. But do not fear them. God is with us and not with them. Numbers chapter 14 verses 10 through 12 says, but all the congregation bade stones with, it says, but all the congregation bade stone them with stones. That means when Joshua and Caleb spoke up and went against the other 10, the congregation threatened to stone them to death. Shut your ass up. We don't want to hear that we can do it. S-H-I-T. We don't want to hear that, is what they told them. We don't want to hear the story about the little engine that thought he could. We don't want to hear that, I think I can. That's basically what the congregation, it says that the congregation threatened to stone Joshua and Caleb for speaking out in opposition to what the other 10 was saying. Shut them up quick. Numbers chapter 14 verses 13 through 19 read, and Moses said unto the Lord, and this is, Moses is now pleading to God on behalf. Moses is now pleading to God on behalf of the children of Israel. Because Numbers chapter 14 verses 10 through 12, I'm sorry, I didn't finish reading it. It reads, but all the congregation bade stone them with stones. And the glory of the Lord appeared in the tabernacle of the congregation before all the children of Israel. And the Lord said unto Moses, how long will this people provoke me? And how long will it be ere they believe me? For all the signs which I have showed among them, I will smite them with the pestilence and disinherit them, and I will make of thee a greater nation and mightier than they. So Joshua and Caleb speak up. They say we can do this. The people say, shut it up. Before I hit you with this damn rock. Shut up. We don't want to hear it. They say the glory of the Lord came down in the tabernacle. And he said to Moses, I'm sick of these people. After all I done did for them, after all that I've shown them, after all they've been privileged to witness. How long must I go in this merry-go-round with these stiff-necked, unread people? And here's the thing. For all the people that's wanting to be Hebrews and wanting to be Jewish, this is God telling you, they was never good enough. He's ready to break his promise with these people. He doesn't want them anymore. He says, how long will this people provoke me? And how long will it be till they believe me? Look at everything I've done. I'm done with them. I'm done with them. That's how he ends it. He says, I'm done with them. So Moses intervenes on the Hebrew people's behalf in Numbers chapter 14, verses 13 through 19. And it reads, and Moses said unto the Lord, then the Egyptians shall hear it. This is what he's saying to God. He's saying, if you destroy these people, then the Egyptians will hear of it. And what will they say? It says, and Moses said unto the Lord, then the Egyptians shall hear it. For thou broughtest up this people in thy might from among them. And they will tell it to the inhabitants of this land, for they have heard that thou, Lord, art among this people, that thou, Lord, art seen face to face, and that thy cloud standest over them, and that thou goest before them by daytime in a pillar of a cloud, and in a pillar of fire by night. So what Moses is saying to God is, you are known, you have a reputation for being our God. And what's going to happen when the Egyptians hear that the same God who brought us up out of Egypt, who goes to us, who goes before us by day as a cloud and by fire as night, the same God who bent over backwards to save us from you Egyptians, did it only to destroy us in the desert. He says, Moses says, now if thou shalt kill all this people as one man, lots of typos here, I'm sorry. Moses says to God, now if thou shalt kill all this people as one man, then the nations which have heard the fame of thee will speak, saying, because the Lord was not able to bring this people into the land which he swore unto them, therefore he hath slain them in the wilderness. So Moses is saying, are you going to allow, he's negotiating with God on behalf of these Hebrew people. God has said, I'm done with these people. I'm sick and tired of them. I'm going to destroy them all and make me a new people. And Moses is saying, hold on. Moses is saying to God, if you do this, then all the people you showed out and bent over backwards to save these people from are going to say, what kind of God is that they had that would save them from the Egyptians only to destroy them in the desert? Moses says the people will say of you and will tell other nations. He says, then the nations which have heard the fame of thee will speak, saying, because the Lord was not able to bring this people into the land which he swore unto them, therefore hath he slain them in the wilderness. And now I beseech thee, let the power of my Lord be great, according as thou hast spoken, saying, the Lord is long suffering and of great mercy, forgiving iniquity and transgression, and by no means clearing the guilty, visiting the iniquity of the fathers upon the children unto the third and fourth generation. Lots of stuff we could be branching off talking about here, folks, but let's just keep it going. We almost done. He says, pardon, I beseech thee, the iniquity of this people according to the greatness of thy mercy. He's saying, pardon, I beg thee, the iniquity of these people. Forgive the ignorance of these people. Forgive the shame of these people. He says, Moses says, pardon, I beseech thee, the iniquity of this people according to the greatness of thy mercy, as thou hast forgiven this people from Egypt even until now. Look at the genius of Moses. You see his genius even in his prayers, even in his petition to God on behalf of these Hebrew people. He says, forgive these ignorant ass people, I beg you, out of the abundance of your forgiveness. Forgive them just as you have forgiven us from the very beginning when we were in Egypt, even up until now. Numbers chapter 14 verses 20 through 24 says, and the Lord said, I have pardoned according to thy word. Moses breaks through. He breaks through to the one and only almighty living God. He moves him. And God replies, and the Lord said, I have pardoned according to thy word. I feel another Genius of Moses episode coming on. This man is masterful in all he does. God says, I have pardoned according to thy word. But as truly as I live, all the earth shall be filled with the glory of the Lord, because all those men which have seen my glory and my miracles, which I did in Egypt and in the wilderness, and have tempted me now these 10 times. He says, all these men who have tempted me these 10 times. Want to know how many times the children of Israel griped and moaned and murmured and complained against the Lord to the point where he had to punish them? 10 times God says it happened. He says, all these men who have seen my glory, who have seen my miracles, what he's saying is they know better. They've seen my glory and miracles, which I did in Egypt and in the wilderness. And they have yet still tempted me now these 10 times, and have not hearkened to my voice. Surely they shall not see the land which I share unto their fathers, neither shall any of them that provoked me see it, but my servant Caleb, because he had another spirit with him, and hath followed me fully. Him will I bring into the land whereinto he went, and his seed shall possess it. So God is telling Moses, these people, I've disinherited them. We gonna go and proceed as planned, but these people who have tempted me these 10 times and have never showed but a spittle of faith, I'm disinheriting them. I'm breaking my promise with them. Where we going? They can't come. And here it comes. Here comes the punishment. Here comes the reason the Hebrews will have to dwell in the desert for another 40 years. Here comes the punishment. God's word, once he gives it, it is finite. Numbers chapter 14 verses 26 through 35 reads, and the Lord spake unto Moses and unto Aaron, saying, how long shall I bear with this evil congregation, which murmur against me? I have heard the murmurings of the children of Israel, which they murmur against me. Say unto them, as truly as I live, saith the Lord, As ye have spoken in mine ears, so will I do to you. Your carcasses shall fall in this wilderness, and all that were numbered of you according to your whole number, from 20 years old and upward, which have murmured against me. Let me translate to Negro terms. All you who was talking that shit. As my mother would say, sound like jive to me. All you who was talking that smack. Let me tell y'all something, dog. I'm sorry, last time. Running your trap will get you into a lot of trouble. I had to learn that the hard way. Take it from the Soapman. Running your trap will get you in buku, mooey amounts of trouble. Think what you wanna, but don't let nobody know what you thinking. All that yap mouth. And I'm not a person who's ever been big on having a lot of mouth. I just said the wrong thing around the wrong people. But that mouth will get you in trouble. Use your brain. You don't want to tell people what your intentions are. You don't want people to know how you feel, that you angry, that you jealous, that you upset. Close your misery. Close your mizzow. Close your mouth. M-O-U-F, mouth. Close your mouth. This is the thing that irritates God. It seems this is the thing that irritates God profusely. Is this thing he calls murmuring. The murmur, that mouth, that mumbling, that whining, that complaining, that griping, that bitching, that moaning. Yeah, I said it. I used a couple of the curse words I promised myself this season to make a point. You talking that yang. And God says, from 20 years old and upward, you which have murmured against me, doubtless ye shall not come into the land. No doubt, you ain't going, dog. Let me tell you, you ain't going. Doubtless ye shall not come into the land, concerning which I swear to make you dwell therein, save Caleb the son of Jephunneh and Joshua the son of Nun. Except for these two. These two can go into the land. These my boys. He says, but your little ones, which ye said should be a prey, them will I bring in. I don't know if you can rewind and go back a couple verses I read. That one of the things that the people were complaining about, they were saying, we fear for our wives and our children. Well, God comes back in this verse and says, those very children that you feared for. He says, let me let him say it. No one says it better. He says, but your little ones, which ye said should be a prey. The same ones you said, oh, what did you bring us out in the desert for our wives and children to be prey? He says, these same little ones, which ye said should be a prey, them will I bring in, and they shall know the land which ye have despised. He says, but as for you, here comes the punishment. Here comes the reason the Hebrews must dwell in the desert for 40 years. He says, but as for you, your carcasses, they shall fall in this wilderness. And your children shall wander in the wilderness 40 years and bear your whoredoms until your carcasses be wasted in the wilderness. He says, your kids I'm going to bring into the promised land. These same ones you so feared for, them I'm going to bring into the promised land. But before I bring them into the promised land, I'm going to make them watch you wither in these woods. That's my word. He says, but as for you, your carcasses, they shall fall in this wilderness, and your children shall wander in this wilderness 40 years. They'll wander, your children, for 40 years they'll wander before I bring them into the land like I said I would. And what are they going to do for 40 years? They're going to bear your whoredoms. They're going to frown upon your cowardice. They're going to say, here lies the reason I'm 40 years old still in this until your carcasses be wasted in the wilderness, until you die. And then it says, and I have in big, bold, red print, after the number of days in which ye search the land, even 40 days, each day for a year shall ye bear your iniquities. Even 40 years, and ye shall know my breach of promise. I, the Lord, have said, I will surely do it unto all this evil congregation that are gathered together against me. In this wilderness they shall be consumed, and there they shall die. Let me tell you the scary thing to me about how God speaks. First of all, he reiterates. Look how many times he says these people murmur against me. He's putting his stamp on it. He's letting you know what it is he doesn't like and what you are about to get hurt for. He says, look how many times he says 40 years you'll dwell in the wilderness. He puts it in such a way. He shoves it down your throat. He force feeds it to you. He makes sure that you are crystal clear. He makes sure that he is lucid and crystal clear. He makes sure you know. He says, after the number of days which you search the land. Oh, you don't remember? Even 40 days. Each day for a year. That's how long you will bear your iniquities. How long? 40 years. He keeps saying it. He reiterates it. And this is the final thing that's scary as hell to me that he does. When he says, I have said it. He says, I have spoken. He says, I, the Lord, have said, I will surely do it. That is so scary to me. What he's saying to me is, you think I'm playing? I am not playing with you. What he's saying is, I mean it. He says it over and over. He reiterates it. He says it in each and every way possible. And he says, this, I mean it. I mean it. I'm going to do it. Numbers chapter 14 verses 36 through 39 read, and the men which Moses sent to search the land, who returned and made all the congregation to murmur against him by bringing up a slander upon the land, even those men that did bring up the evil report upon the land, died by the plague before the Lord. But Joshua the son of Nun and Caleb the son of Jephunneh, the two names I told you to remember, which were of the men that went to search the land, live still. And Moses told these sayings unto all the children of Israel, and the people mourned greatly. You bet they did. I bet they did mourn greatly. So that whole, what the Bible is saying is, that whole generation was cursed to spend an additional 40 years in the desert and die there. All except Caleb, the son of Jephunneh, and Joshua, the son of Nun. Even Moses, Aaron, and Miriam will not make it into the promised land. They are all to die in the desert, all except Joshua and Caleb. Because remember, Moses and Aaron got punished for hitting the rock instead of speaking to it. Now, when we started off with 10 men handpicked from each of the 12 tribes of Israel. Each man a ruler among his tribe, each man a prince. And these 12 spies were chosen to search out the land and bring back a report. And the Bible says that they brought back an evil report. 10 out of the 12, the overwhelming majority, brought back an evil report. All but 2, Joshua and Caleb, all but 2 brought back an evil report. Only Joshua and Caleb had the cojones. Only Joshua and Caleb had the gonads to say, we can fight with these people and we can win. Let me tell you something, folks. I will take 2 die-hard soldiers over 10 gum bumpers. I will take 2 street mongrels over 10 timid, preppy, scared to get their hands dirty, pussyfoot, tenderfoot, softies. I will take 2 doers over 20 dreamers. I will take 2 walkers over 10 talkers. You get my drift? You know what I'm talking about? These 2 men with Moses, that is what you call hope. It ain't like he need much. He's Moses. But these 2 men represent hope. They are the minority of the 12 spies. They say, I ain't afraid of no ghosts. We can fight these tall men. We can fight these strong men. We can defeat these giants. We can beat the sons of Anak. And they are the only 2 that are going to survive this ordeal in the desert because of their what? Attitude. God says because they had a different spirit. But another word for spirit is attitude. They spoke up for Moses and spoke up, and under threat of death, the people said, shut up before I knock you upside your dome with this rock. Shut up, sit down and be quiet. Moses don't need much. He's got 2 soldiers with him. 2 die-hard, rock-solid compadres. The 3 amigos, so to speak. So though the task is daunting, First of all, put yourself in Moses' shoes. He has been fighting with all the problems that he has. He has been fighting with these people from the very beginning. After all he's done, after all he's shown them, and after all he's been through with them, he has been fighting with these griping, complaining people from the start up until now. So though the task ahead may seem daunting, remember this: sometimes you can do more with less. A bird in a hand is worth more than two in a bush, because you got it. These two soldiers with Moses are worth their weight in gold. They make up for the vast opposition. So, though the task ahead may seem daunting, me knowing the caliber of soldiers that these two men are, Moses is in a good position. He's in good standing to accomplish the task. Because these two men standing with him, Joshua and Caleb, are one-man armies in their own rights. They're little Moseses. And Moses is a genius. And now he's got these two acolytes. He's in a good place. 2 out of 10. You want these two on your side and not the 10. If you had to choose who to go into battle with, choose these two over the 10. The 10 liable to run. Iron is harder than copper. These men are made of sterner stuff. Yo, we've come to the part where I thank you for tuning in for another episode of Son of a Preacher Man. If you're new to this channel, please hit that like and subscribe button. If you got any comments, compliments, suggestions, insults, please leave them in the comments section. I'll see you next time on Son of a Preacher Man. Same soap time, same soap channel, and we out.